On today's episode of The Unwritten Rule, we've got a good show. We're going to talk some more football recruiting. Unfortunately, no Corey Sims for the Missouri Tigers. They missed out on him, but we do got the next target up, Charles Bass, who commits here on Monday. So when you're listening to this show, he may already be a Missouri Tiger. So we give our take on where things kind of stand there. We have a good motion for Mizzou there. On that front, got some men's basketball news with Sean East, more Mizzou Laker connections. Going to talk some baseball as well. The Tigers in a preseason tournament, early season tournament. We're going to kind of break down. Then we got a good quick hits, good Ken Sports Shorts, little old Mizzou Big 12 rival quiz about that. And then we have Dirty Birds and then headlines to finish out the show. Going to talk some NBA draft, talk some Bronny James, talk about that whole situation. Got some Mizzou stuff in there as well. Going to talk about them being snubbed from the college football top 25 teams rankings. That gets heated. And we've got some more John Anderson talk as well because he's the GOAT. So good show for you guys to kickstart your week and look forward to some more recruiting after the Tigers missed out on Corey Sims. So there's all that. With that, the Unwritten Rule starts right now.
Marcel, where are you going with that disc? You are not putting that on again. Marcel, okay, if you press that button, you are in very, very big trouble.
Attention. Everybody stop what you're doing. It's time for The Unwritten Rule, a Mizzou sports podcast brought to you by the Believe Network, alongside Payton Haverman and Kenny Van Doren. Here is your host, Jack Knowlton.
Welcome back to The Unwritten Rule. Today is Monday, July 1st. And let me first just say, thank God it's not June, so I don't get it confused with January anymore. I did that the last two shows and had to cut it out. It's very annoying. So happy July, Payton and Kenny. And if you're hearing this part of the show, unfortunately, it means that Corey Sims, the four-star receiver, did not commit to Mizzou. So to explain, we're recording this portion of the show and the rest of the episode with Kenny because Kenny isn't available. We wanted to record a part for Corey Sims after he commits later Sunday afternoon. So if there's a part in front of this part, you won't hear any of this because that means he did commit to Mizzou, and Payton and I will have a breakdown of it. But if you're hearing this now, it means he did not, in fact, commit, and we'll just have to move on and do the rest of the show, which is unfortunate for the Missouri Tigers. But there remains a bunch of other targets we've kind of talked about in past episodes. So obviously go check those out. We'll have more recruiting, of course, coverage all summer. And speaking of that, we move swiftly on, right? No Corey Sims, no problem. Mizzou's staying in the mix, trying to, lure in or reel in more of these top targets. It's been a great summer. We've talked about it a whole bunch, setting up to be one of the better Missouri football classes here in recent history. And another big name that could be coming through in lieu of Corey Sims is a certain four-star defensive back. That's Charles Bass. He is announcing his decision on Monday. So when you're hearing this, he might already be committed to the Missouri Tigers. Charles Bass, four-star safety out of East St. Louis High School, which very much annoys me that it does not count as an in-state poll technically for Mizzou. I think that high school specifically, or East St. Louis, should count as Missouri rankings just because, I don't know, there's been so many recruits out of there. But he's the number 97 player in the country, has a finals list. You can see it if you're watching on the YouTube, of Missouri, Arkansas, Illinois, and Kansas State. So a very regional battle here for what is a high-end four-star. Like I said, he's a top 100 player in the class, according to Rivals, top 10 player in his position. Kind of an in-state poll if you're Elijah Drinkwitz and the Missouri Tigers. Call it what you will. But Payton, Kenny, what do we think here with Charles Bass? I think it's a name we brought up on this show before. At least it's a name I've seen before in recruiting spheres with Mizzou. But what do we think of him possibly coming in? Seems like this would be another pretty big pull if the Tigers can win this battle with some literal rivals, in this top four for him.
Yeah, certainly, like you mentioned, very regional. Top 100 guy on Rivals. East St. Louis has been kind to Missouri before. I'll let people connect the dots there on who's come from East St. Louis. But it's Luther Burden. But yeah, no, I mean, obviously, definitely would be a good get for Mizzou. Like you said, Knowlton, it pretty much is in state. I'm sure Mizzou just kind of considers it in state. Um, you're not really gonna hear a lot of objections to that. People seem very confident in Charles Bass to Mizzou. I don't think it's one to stress over. Seems like it's pretty much a done deal. Alpogue has actually kind of been the one that's kind of put in the most work after that June 21st visit weekend. He got a commit last week. Kind of looks like he's going to get Charles Bass here. Very, very good. Good addition for the safety room that's about to lose Joseph Charleston. So going to need some guys to step up there. You have Marvin Burks hopefully taking a big step forward at one of the safety spots. Dalen Carnell will also be gone. Obviously, it's not a true safety spot, but more that star role, whatever they're calling it. In this iteration of the defense, it's still basically the same thing. So Charles Bass, obviously, you're never going to be upset about getting a top 100 guy.
It's good that the Tigers stayed on him as well. Blake Baker was a part of this recruitment at one point, and he offered Charles Bass when he moved over to LSU and maybe tried to bridge those connections, but stayed more regional for Charles. And, it's always good probably for him and his family to be closer to home. That's why he has a lot of these high-end Power 5 schools or in his area that are in his Final Four. And you talk about maybe leaning the Missouri way. Gabe DeArmond put in a future cast for the Tigers to land Charles Bass in April. So a couple months ago, but it seems like it's been trending that way for some time now. And according to his timeline, his last official visit was to Mizzou. So we always talk about you like to be that last team that has him on campus, the last push, the last really just last thoughts you can give a kid before he makes his decision on where he wants to go to college.
That is a very real thing. I like the last official visit. I think Payton, you've kind of been, we've had conversations on this show and off air before about how we feel, how much that really weighs. And it definitely depends probably recruit to recruit. But I think for some of these kids, like who, they kind of fall in love with whatever school they're most recently at. It certainly, makes a difference that's the last school they have in their mind, when they're then going back and they're not allowed to take any more visits and schools aren't allowed to have them on campus. To be the last team that sticks out, I do think that's a difference maker. Is his huddle highlights titled Agent Zero?
Yeah,
pretty
good.
Am I reading that right? That's
yep.
I like that. That's a good nickname.
Not gonna obviously just on the visits thing. Like if a coach had to pick, don't get me wrong, he'd pick the last visit. But I think nowadays it matters about as little as it ever has, just with NIL and everything. It doesn't matter as much. Like you both are completely correct. Like the last visit is most ideal. Like if you're a coach, you kind of want that last visit because rarely do guys take one visit or two visits and then cut off the rest of their recruitment. But I don't think it matters as much anymore. But like you guys said, they were the last visit. It looks like they're going to get Charles Bass. So worked for them.
And it would be a big pull as well, I think. It's top 100 kid. I know, Zollers is in there. We expect him to get a bump. But, this is my PSA to you, Mr. Charles Bass. Charles, Chuck. Can we call him Chuck? I don't know if I can call him Chuck.
I think you're just going to have to call him Charles.
Charles. Chuck, if you go by Chuck. When's the last time Arkansas's beaten Mizzou? Kansas State just lost to Mizzou last year in a 61-yard field goal. You don't want to go there. Illinois, do they even have foot? You're going to be coached by who? Brett Bielema? Come on. You know the right decision here. Let's wrap.
I don't think anything we can say
nope.
On this pod is going to convince him.
Considering the other schools, we need this PSA. He needs to know what the right in this area is.
I have no idea if you have committable offers from any other SEC team in Arkansas other than maybe Vanderbilt. I don't know why you'd ever take that, but and then the Big 12, Big 10, come on now.
Yeah.
Be real.
What are we doing?
You want to go play in the Big 10, the snow? Ugh.
Might have to play in the snow here. Possible snow.
What did Mizzou have a snow game? Well, in our 4 years there, Knowlton, 2019, 2023.
Felt like it. New Mexico
Answer is
State.
no. Answer is no.
felt like it. I actually did read a very good article. Shout out to Matt Stahl. He's a writer for AL.com. Did a breakdown of like college football playoff teams and what the playoff would look like every single year from like 1990. And I think in 2007, Mizzou would have gotten a home game against Arizona State. And it was like there was more snow in Columbia than usual that year. So that would have been a snow playoff home game, which would have been fun.
Snow playoff game for the Sun Devils. Sounds like a vintage Missouri loss.
Arizona State thrives in the snow.
Yeah.
Anyway, hopefully Charles Bass, hopefully we're coming back on Friday and breaking down a little commitment for Charles Bass, because this would be a pretty big one to get. So everyone keep your eyes out on that. Again, the number 97 player in the country, a stud from East St. Louis High School in Charles Bass. Other things, basketball. I feel this is.
I like no capping. He's the main bird,
even though it's not technically the segment. But we are going to talk Sean East. Got some good Sean East news. Of course, the NBA draft just happened, so guys got drafted and guys are now getting scooped up on two-way deals and all these little contracts. Sean East joined that group of players. He signed an Exhibit 10 deal with the Los Angeles Lakers. So LA continues to familiarize itself. We've got the LA Tigers, whatever you want to call it, with now Kobe in with the Clippers. You had DeMar with the Lakers, now with Portland's organization, and Sean East joining the fold. I'll explain. I guess I'll explain what a Exhibit 10 deal is, because that's the one he signed, and then you guys feel free to give your thoughts on just this being a cool opportunity for Sean East. If those were people who might have been confused what that means, essentially it's a deal that's worth like the minimum salary. So Sean is going to go, he'll do summer league with the Lakers, he'll do camp with the Lakers, and then if the Lakers decide to waive him, they will have his rights as a G League player. So if Sean East chooses to stick with the Lakers G League team and decides not to go overseas or something like that to play, he will be on the Lakers G League team. Essentially, the contract exists to incentivize a player to stay with an organization's G League affiliate rather than, if they get waived, to go like overseas or go somewhere else. So he should be a part of the Lakers organization. I mean, we know how good of a player Sean is. Hopefully, he sticks and has a nice G League season. But I thought I'd explain that if people didn't know what an Exhibit 10 contract was. There's a lot of weirdness with the NBA and how all that stuff works. But Sean East to the Lakers, Payton and Kenny. How are we feeling?
I'm happy for Sean. That is, when you really actually boil it down, I mean, that's a massive, massive recruiting success for Dennis Gates, actually, to pluck a guy from JUCO, and he was on nobody's draft radars even coming into this year, really. And he didn't get drafted, but he's got a shot in the league. I mean, that's not a summer league deal. It's a straight up, like Knowlton explained. I mean, he's got a chance to just stick with the Lakers org for a bit. So happy for Sean. I will say it's pretty unbelievable. I think if you had told any Missouri fan before the year that Sean East was going to put up 17.6, 4 assists, 3.5 rebounds, and have a 63% true shooting percentage, that Mizzou would probably be like a higher rated team than last year. But unfortunately, it was pretty much Sean East and pretty often Tamar Bates playing 2-on-5 because there was a bunch of garbage around him. But good for Sean. Happy for him. I'm glad that really good season did not go completely in vain. I'm glad it at least earned him a shot in the NBA.
I think someone needs to talk to Rob Pelinka just about like what he likes about Dennis Gates guards. His back-to-back seasons, he signed one from Missouri with Demoy Hodge going last year. Of course, Demoy is no longer with the Lakers organization, but really cool to see back-to-back years. A guard from Dennis Gates' team makes it. This is what I'm going to ask you guys for next season. Who's going to be the guard that the Lakers sign from the Missouri Tigers?
Tony Perkins.
I like it.
I'm going to say Marquise Warwick.
Okay.
Marquise Warwick already went into the draft, put up high volume numbers in the high horizon last year. If he can come in and be a pretty solid player for Mizzou, I'll say he gets like at least a summer league invite from the
Actually,
Lakers.
I kind of want to back that for Payton, because Tony Perkins is too mainstream, because you think about Demoy Hodge, mid-major player, then Mizzou, then NBA. Tony Perkins has been on 2 high major teams. Everyone knows who he is. He's too mainstream. Marquise Warwick, mid-major player, Mizzou.
And as we'll discuss in quick hits, I mean, Tony Perkins is already getting some buzz. So
yeah, this is true. This is true. Won't spoil that segment, but listen to quick hits. Yeah, I think the real question is, we're talking about all this stuff with Bronny James getting drafted to the Lakers, and he's going to be mentored by his dad. What a cool story. This is the real mentor for a guy like Bronny James, another small point guard. He's got a ton of experience. I mean, I think we've got to be talking about there's got to be some Sean East going to be who helps Bronny James reach.
They will probably be on the court at the same time.
They probably will.
And if you were at our lunch conversation with Moon Choi that one time, if Moon Choi had it his way, they would have been teammates at Mizzou.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I just think you got to throw that in there. No, do you know Bronny's a smaller point guard, crafty, knows the game really well. Sean East, same thing.
Do you think Sean East will ever talk to LeBron?
Oh yeah,
I hope so.
Yeah, come on, LeBron. I feel like LeBron is the type of teammate that he will especially now that he's older. Like he'll give advice to kind of the up and comers and stuff like that.
That'd be cool.
I think he will. I'm curious your guys' thoughts while we're on this. What did you guys make of the whole just Bronny James situation now that it's over? And obviously,
considering it's my headlines, we'll discuss it then.
Oh, my bad. I didn't look at your headline before we started. We'll get to that. Never mind. Scratch from the record. But he's gonna.
Good one, Jack.
Sean East is gonna play with Bronny. I'm sorry, Payton. I didn't click on the doc right before we started. Put your headline on there then. It's on me. Yeah, I'm excited for him. I mean, Demoy Hodge had some good games for the South Bay Lakers, then went to Portland. So it's a proven sticking ground. The G League is just becoming saturated with ex-Missouri talent. I love it. It's going to make for some very good, very easy Tigers in the pros when we get to November and the NBA season starts back up.
Thanks for your 300 likes on Twitter when we post a photo of Sean East and Isaiah Mosley hugging.
Very easy engagement farming for us.
We
so
love
shout
our
out
fans.
Sean East. Yeah, we love our fans. So shout out Sean East. He signed the Exhibit 10 deal with the Lakers. Going to go join Bron and Bronny, and hopefully stick in the organization. We'll see what happens. Summer League is in I think 2 weeks, week and a half. So, he'll be one to watch for the old Lake show. Last thing before we go to, sorry. Did you have a thought, Kenny?
Yeah, I just remembered this. You talked about LeBron talking to Sean East. Of course, I think that'll happen. But you remember those videos of when Bronny was in high school or AAU and LeBron's on the sideline clapping? We're going to see that at a pro level now, during Summer League. He's going to be sitting on the sidelines yelling at his son in a professional atmosphere. I can't. It's incredible. That's already happening.
It's got to be really cool for LeBron. I know obviously we'll discuss it more, but that's just, I can't even imagine.
I'm excited for it, but we'll talk about it more. That's my bad. All right. Last thing, baseball. We got more baseball notes because Mizzou is going to compete in a tournament in Puerto Rico. I didn't even know they did these things in baseball. These I know they do this in basketball, these multi-team events, in the Bahamas or wherever. I'm going to throw it to Kenny first in a little change of pace. Kenny, you'll be far better explaining this than I will be. What's going on with Mizzou going to Puerto Rico? It looks like the Puerto Rico Challenge for the Tigers.
Yeah, February 14th to the 16th next season in 2025. Penn State, Rice, UConn, Michigan, Missouri, Virginia, Stetson, and Villanova are competing in the Puerto Rico Challenge. I'm going to be honest, it's not a great field of teams on the baseball front. Virginia did play in the postseason. They had some magic in the ACC tournament this year. But other than that, Stetson's had some good major leaguers come out of here. UConn had a first rounder a couple years ago, but it's not regular powerhouses in college baseball. But it's still good to see Mizzou playing in this, and it's probably a lot of fun to go to a different country and start your college baseball season. You got some teams in there that might be dealing with snow as well, like UConn, Penn State, maybe even Michigan. So good group of teams just from different parts of the country. Rice was a good team maybe 20 years ago, good program, but it's kind of not in its best days right now, but it's cool to see this. Cool to see that Mizzou is included.
I completely agree because I mean I remember a couple of years ago, like when Mizzou would do the event at I forget what it was called, but they'd go to that college baseball kind of tournament thing at Minute Maid Park. It was always kind of a cool way to kick off your
Shriners
season.
Classic.
The Shriners, yeah. They'd play like Oklahoma State and stuff like that. Pretty cool. I mean, February 14th and 6th through 16th is, I mean, that's like maybe pitchers and catchers have reported by then in Major League Baseball. That is an early start to the season, but it's cool. I'm sure it'll be like an unforgettable experience for the teams that are there. I'm not going to lie. This is how I found out Michigan had a baseball team. I knew the other ones did. UConn even, because I remember thinking when I first heard UConn had a baseball team, I was like, wow, they must play their first 3 months on the road. But yeah, I mean, Virginia made it all the way to the College World Series, correct?
Yeah. And one thing about with Michigan, I think you should know they have a baseball team. They are like huge. Derek Jeter, and
that's
Jumpman. It's like the Jordan brand stuff. It's a big deal there.
Also, they have Jordan Nwogu, a former outfielder, when they went to the College World Series. Now it's coming back to me.
Did Tom Brady play baseball at Michigan? Or
no,
totally wrong on that? Okay, never mind.
He played football there, dude.
Well,
I'm kidding.
I couldn't remember if he played both. I don't know.
And of course, who was the first rounder that went to UConn, Kenny?
He plays for the Giants now. I guess his name.
Patrick Bailey. No, he went to NC State. He's an outfielder.
He's a pitcher now. Yeah, was a two-way guy.
Not Sean Jelly. Is he a starter?
Sean Jelly?
I think he's more of a reliever now.
Oof. I don't know. Who is it?
I'm gonna get his name right so I don't mess this up. Pulling up 1 second. Reggie Crawford.
Oh, okay, yeah. He pitched against the Cubs recently, so I didn't know.
I also wanted to look this up just because I knew this was something regarding the Mizzou current roster. But there is a player on the team that is from Puerto Rico, so this could be pretty cool. I think it's Justin Colon, the infielder. So he's from Puerto Rico, so this is probably a cool opportunity for him.
There you go, homecoming.
Yeah, I mean, this would be cool for Mizzou. I mean, you're hoping for a bit of progress under Carrick in year 2. We've well documented how hard it is for Mizzou to be good at baseball. If you can go in there, maybe get a couple wins in this Puerto Rico challenge, you never know.
How long has this been? Do either of you know how long they've been doing these? Like these
the Puerto Rico challenge?
Yeah, or like have they been doing multi-team events for baseball for that long, like outside of the country?
Oh, outside of the country, I have no idea. But they've been doing they have plenty of events like this in the country.
I figure that. Because especially like you said, teams from the north have to probably go somewhere south to play a lot of their games at the beginning of the year.
This is basically the battle for Atlantis in baseball.
But baseball, that's the way we have to put it. I have to put it in
college basketball terms. You got to go outside of the country.
Yeah,
or I guess Puerto Rico technically is like, not a state.
Yeah.
It's the inaugural Puerto Rico challenge.
Okay.
Cool. One. Hopefully it's a good event.
Yeah, I will watch. That'll be fun. So yeah, what is that? February 14th to 16th? Yeah. It should be fun. That's during Valentine's Day. Should bring their, significant others. Be a fun vacation.
You won't have anything going on. You can go watch this, Jack.
Wow. All right. Not sure what that was about.
I had to make it. I made the joke to Payton once. I had to make it to you now.
Yes. Oh, that was one of the biggest roasts in KCOU history. Was that throwback to that clip? Yeah, fair enough. I will watch this, but yeah, Puerto Rico challenge February 14th to 16th for Mizzou baseball. Hopefully they can succeed in that. Can be a nice kickstart, like we said, to the Carrick era. We're gonna talk more Mizzou and more Bronny James, as we've now emphatically teased on this beginning part of the show. In quick hits. Got Ken sports shirts as well, so we'll get you to that. Okay, quick hits time. We are once again spared from staring at the Sporkle ads. Thank you, Kenny, for not picking another Sporkle quiz. But we have Ken Sports Shorts, so I will stop yapping and pass it to you. What do we got?
I have a quiz for this one. It's a two-part quiz, just 2 questions. I'll start it off pretty
Too
quick
many
here.
questions.
In 2018, one Power 5 school featured draft picks inside the top 15 selections for Major League Baseball, the National Football League, and the National Basketball Association. What school is it, and can you name the players?
18?
2018.
Okay.
Well, if it's the top 15,
Top 15 picks.
so there wasn't a football because Mizzou had a top 15 pick in 2018 for basketball.
Yeah. And I don't think they had the only person I can think of that would have been a first round pick from sort of that era is Charles Harris. And even then, I don't think it was that year. And I think he was later than 15. So I don't think it's Mizzou.
So we're ruling Mizzou out.
I'm going to have to. All right, there. We ruled one off. Now we only have like 34 others to go. Kenny, can we get a conference?
No.
Okay. Thank you.
And I'll tell you why after.
Oh, maybe it's like a lower conference or something. Like it's like a mid-major.
Well, he said Power 5
Power
conference,
5.
didn't he?
Oh, he did. Sorry, I missed that.
It
All
could
right,
be.
Payton, I'm going to walk us. I'm going to walk us through the
Pac-12 is dead. It could be
Oh.
one of them. That could be what he's trying to do. You know,
what was like the Oregon State? Didn't they have a?
but they've never had a NBA. Like
Yeah,
they
oh, yeah,
definitely have
yeah,
MLB covered, but unless Gary Payton II was like a super high draft pick.
What about Oregon? I don't remember when like Dylan Brooks was drafted, but I think he was a pretty high pick. Maybe
It was
not.
a second round pick.
Was he
no,
really?
that's Jordan Bell. That's Jordan Bell I'm thinking of.
All right, here's the
Maybe
hint.
you might be right. It could be.
If you get the baseball guy, you get it. Like if you just get the baseball guy, I'm pretty sure you can get the rest of it. That's where you have to go with this.
So Peyton, think about baseball first round picks.
I have no idea who would have gone in the 2018 MLB draft.
You think I do?
No. I couldn't tell you the first overall pick that year.
Casey
Probably.
Mize.
Who?
Mize.
Oh, it's that year. Okay, so like that's Brady Singer year.
Bang.
It's Jackson Kovar year. Grayson Rodriguez is in there. He went to Oregon State. But I don't think it's Oregon State.
Yeah, I don't know who they would have had in basketball.
Oh,
let's just like rattle some up because it's not. I wouldn't think it's like Alabama because they're not good at baseball. So I don't think they'd have a baseball guy.
See, the 2018
LSU.
2018
LSU.
NFL had like the picks.
No,
I think it's a Pac-12 because 2018 had so many like first round quarterbacks. It was like Sam Darnold, Josh Rosen.
Okay.
Could it be UCLA maybe?
And if Kenny's going to make a Mizzou connection, maybe it's Cal because of Dennis Gates.
But I don't think a Cal quarterback went that year.
All right, here's your hint. It's nothing to do with the Pac-12. You guys are going the wrong way.
Okay, well, we're not even close, Knowlton. Golly.
Big Ten? Can we have our conference? Or still no? Is it with
I'll give you the conference. Okay, unless Peyton knows.
No, wait. Give me the conference.
Big 12.
Big 12. Dang it. I was thinking it might be NC State because Bradley Chubb went like 5th or 6th that year.
Oh.
And then I think Dennis Smith was around that era.
Who was good? Was Iowa State good then?
Iowa State has never had a pick that high.
For football?
At least recently. Yeah, no.
Okay.
I'm telling you, if you get the baseball player, like you will get the rest. You don't think about baseball. You're not going to find an Iowa State baseball player inside the top 15.
Kansas State. I'm just going to name.
I know what it is.
Oh,
go ahead.
And I know the players. It's Oklahoma.
It is Oklahoma.
It's Baker Mayfield, Trey Young, Kyler Murray.
Correct.
Yep. Oh, because Kyler Murray was a first round.
Nice. You cheeky. Oh, that's a good one.
And
Kenny. I'm
of
proud of
those
that
three
one.
players, who is the one player that's still with the team that drafted them?
Trae Young.
Well,
Nope.
no, because Trae Young wasn't drafted by the Hawks.
Oh, that's right. Oh, I hate this. It is Kyler then
It's
because he's
Kyler.
still technically the rights are
This
still
is his
Yeah.
final year under his minor league contract.
Yeah, because there's the you can.
So
there's
did
a
he
photo
sign
of-
his contract then?
Yeah, he was invited to spring training.
Oh, that's right. Because I think I remember now in the contract it was kind of like, okay, yeah, you can go play quarterback at Oklahoma, but then you're definitely coming here afterwards, right?
Mm-hmm.
Dumbest thing Oakland has ever done. Really
Nope.
stupid of them. And they didn't even
Nope.
get so Knowlton, and for anyone that doesn't know, in the draft, the MLB draft, if you draft a guy in the first round and they don't sign, you get like a comp pick the next year that'll still be really
You get
high.
a second
like
first rounder.
Yeah, the Astros did it once, like when they didn't sign, I think it was Brady Aiken, and they got like 2 studs. I think it was the Bregman year, right, Kenny?
It was
You
Bregman
know.
and Kyle Tucker.
Yep. So 2 really,
even know
really
who they
good
are.
players. But since the A's signed Kyler Murray,
Right,
they didn't
that
get
doesn't-
anything for him leaving.
Huh.
They just burned a
Jeez.
first round pick.
So he was that good at baseball.
Yeah, he was really good. He would have gone even earlier than the A's if people weren't scared of the
playing
Oklahoma
football.
football thing.
Hey, we love Kyler Murray on this show after his list stuff. So shout
Yep.
out. Nice,
Arkansas
nice,
is
Kenny.
terrible.
I enjoyed Arkansas. Oh, terrible. I enjoyed that one. Good quiz.
That was a good quiz, Kenny. Good job.
But you
Dirty
got
Birds.
it, Jack. You got where I was going with it. I picked it because Michael Porter Jr. was drafted in the top 15 in 2018.
Right. Yeah, because he was. Again would have been much higher if he was not chronically injured. But
I mean, people
Got
thought he
the-
was going to go 1-1 coming into the year.
he would have gone 1-1 if he was just healthy. If he was just healthy and averaged 9 points a game, I think he still would have. He's a 6'9" guard or forward that can shoot. Like,
Let's
it's-
not talk about this anymore before I get this video flagged for. Anyways, let's move on.
Dirty Birds of the Week, Kenny.
My dirty bird of the week is Tony Perkins. You might be wondering, why am I making a dirty bird out of one of the current guards for the Mizzou basketball team? And it's because, of course, he went to Iowa. There's his bird connection, but he's going to the Chris Paul Elite Guard Camp. Oh, pretty cool. Once in a lifetime opportunity. It says it here on the graphic. But did Chris Paul, and correct me if I'm wrong, has he ever won the big one? Has he ever gotten over that hump? I don't know if we want a
figured
guy.
that's why you were doing this.
I don't know if we want the future or the point guard for the Missouri Tigers in this upcoming season to be coached by a guy who's never won.
I like this take. I support it.
It's cool. I get what you're saying there, but it is cool to see a Mizzou guard just get this kind of recognition. Obviously, this doesn't mean that he's a top 12 point guard in the entire nation, but I mean, it does mean he has a lot of buzz behind him. He was pretty sought after. I remember Oregon. You could also make that another bird connection. Oregon was interested in him when Mizzou got him, so there is that. But yeah, I have high hopes for Tony Perkins. The point guard play for Mizzou last year, I don't know what. I guess Nick Honor just couldn't really step into that bigger role like Dennis was hoping, because the point guard play last year was just downright abysmal at times. So hopefully Tony Perkins can kind of just solidify that.
I like that his nickname or his Twitter handle is @SaucyT, by the way. That's fire.
Also, cool graphic.
It is a pretty cool graphic. I do like this take, Kenny. Chris Paul is a serial loser. Also, this is a random side tangent, but I saw yesterday. So Chris Paul's on the Warriors. They might waive him this weekend because free agency starting, which means their trade when they gave away Jordan Poole for him, they essentially will have traded Jordan Poole for nothing because they traded Jordan Poole 2 first-round picks for Chris Paul, and now they're going to cut him.
Yeah,
little random bad
the Warriors win that trade still. I mean, I don't know if you've noticed, Jordan Poole is awful.
I blame the Wizards. Wizards don't know.
He was not good his last year in Golden State.
Yeah, he's still a valuable player.
You've seen
I think it's fine.
the number breakdowns when he sees a woman he's attracted to, and he plays a lot better. Yeah.
Yep.
I have not seen that.
His
He
priority.
has a
Women.
very famous March Madness shot.
The women on court, the court side. Jordan Poole comes alive. Anyway, congrats, Tony Perkins. Hopefully he does more winning than Chris Paul. Payton, your dirty bird.
My dirty bird of the week is going to be Mo Diarra. Why are we looking for a bird connection here? Well, he's going to be teammates with Sean East, the main bird himself, once again. So Mo Diarra,
I like no cap, he's the main bird.
Main bird. He signed a summer league deal with the Lakers. You got to hand it to Mo Diarra, man. He went to a place where he played the more comfortable role for him. Just played as a straight up 4 next to DJ Burns at the 5. He was a lot better there than he was at Mizzou. So good for Mo Diarra. Maybe he can make an impact in the summer league. It'll be cool. Him and Sean East can hang out again. Look at that, 2 players. Moon Choi's dream is just coming true in the South Bay right now. I mean, we could have had Bronny James, Sean East, and Mo Diarra on the court at the same time at Mizzou, and instead we're getting it in LA.
That would have certainly been a trio of all time.
Showtime, Mizzou.
Tigers.
Yeah.
The Missouri Lakers. Yeah, congrats to Mo Diarra. Former future Missouri Tiger center Nick Pringle quote tweeted this, by the way, and said, "Congrats to his friend Mohamed Diarra."
How does
still
he
wish
know
it
Mo
happened.
Diarra?
I don't know. I wanted that. I wanted that so bad for Mizzou. I'm very happy with why am I blanking on his name from South Carolina who we got?
Josh Gray.
Josh Gray. Thank you. Sorry, Josh Gray. Congrats to Mohamed Diarra.
Horse is his name.
Yeah, the horse. I hope Mo does well with Sean East. Sean will be throwing lobs to him in South Bay.
This is kind of a random thought I just had. There's that their movie. Oh my gosh, it's like Sorry for Bothering You. I don't know if you guys have ever seen that. And they're at the end of it, they take the horse pills and they turn into a horse. You know, like how Mizzou always has like those just random like hype videos. If they do one for him, they should do like a scene from that movie where people just get turned into horses, and then just like a compilation of him just like laying down jams. I don't know. We've seen the memes thrown in there before. If anyone's listening, try to get it in there. Slip the horse video in there.
Mizzou needs to get good at basketball again so the memes can kind of kick back up.
They were very good. I enjoyed them at the my favorite part of covering the team in 2023 was like the older journalists when the meme videos would come on the Jumbotron and they'd be like, what is happening right now?
I can imagine Gabe DeArmond almost keeled over.
I didn't want to name anyone by name, but that's who I had.
We all know who you're talking about in that instance. I'm sure Gabe himself would admit that.
Yeah, Callum McAndrew, old guy there too.
Noted old head. We'll have to have them both back on the show. Anyway, my dirty bird of the week is ESPN for losing John Anderson. They didn't really lose him. It's not like they fired him or anything. He's just leaving. But I had to find something to call the dirty bird. We already talked about this a little bit, but since our last show, he did his last episode of Sports Center, so they were airing a bunch of nice stuff for him. Steve Levy did a really nice kind of not like tribute, but talked with him and stuff on his last broadcast. And they aired a bunch of his old This Is Sports Center commercials, which just such good nostalgia for these all around. And I thought, it was very funny. I mean, I'm very excited for the future of Mizzou and broadcast journalism, I guess, that he's coming. But these were very good commercials. I never noticed the one he does with Ricky Fowler where Ricky Fowler's like colorblind because he's in the all orange. He pours the orange juice in his coffee. John Anderson has a Mizzou mug. I never noticed that until
I didn't either.
This video. Yeah,
I'm gonna have to keep an eye on that. There's so many good ones if you can see on screen. The Albert Pujols one is really, really good. The machine where he's like the machine. That's what they call you, right? And he's like, I'm not a machine. As he's like looking at him through robot eyes. Oh yeah, there's the Ricky Fowler one.
See, you'll notice Mizzou mug.
There it is.
There's 2.
Is there another one on like the
Ricky
side?
Holden one?
No, Ricky has an Oklahoma State mug.
Okay, that makes sense. Obviously,
right there.
Oh yeah.
Yep. Great podcast.
Very cool. Also, they did mention that he's going back to Mizzou on Sports Center in the clips of all the anchors saying goodbye to him. But yeah, This Is Sports Center commercials unlocks such a big part of nostalgia for me. I'm glad they're starting to do them again. I think they're really good. John Anderson was part of a lot of ones I kind of just didn't register that he was in. The tour one with the Manning brothers goofing off. That's an iconic one.
He's just a great personality. I think he's gonna do really well with students and stuff like that. Pretty cool guy. Wisconsin native, by the way. Have to throw that in there.
Yeah. They went to Mizzou just like you.
Yeah, we are the same. All right. Congrats to John Anderson. We will, I don't know, come on the show if you see this. We'll invite him on. All right. Let's finish things with headlines. Kenny, read your headline.
This is awesome. Jono Barnes on X posted after the Pelicans made a trade this past weekend and said that this newspaper in New Orleans should have a headline that says "From a Hawk to a Pelican." And you know what that newspaper did? They did "From a Hawk to a Pelican." Spelled a little bit differently than what Jono Barnes wanted, but still got it for the DeJounte Murray trade. So really funny. DeJounte Murray, pretty funny to see. And for those that don't know what a hawk tuah and why that's funny, there's a very viral video of a girl saying, "You got a hawk tuah." And I don't want to say the rest of it just because I don't want that clipped of myself. But it's out there. And I mean, Jack, you can play it if you'd like to.
Yeah, hold on. I downloaded
it.
Man.
Spit on that thing.
Yeah.
Funny video. It's funny that it's funny.
I'm sorry, Grandma.
It's it's a little bit.
This was not my idea.
It's a little bit sophomoric. It's very funny that I'm glad you explained that too. The reason that this headline even exists is because DeJounte Murray, who was a very good player on the Hawks, got traded to the Pelicans.
It has to be intentional, right? Like,
yes,
from a hawk to a pelican doesn't even make sense.
Yeah, because from a hawk to a pelican, that's not like a gripping headline. If you don't, know the joke.
Yeah, they knew what they were doing.
Oh,
yeah, that's all. That's my only thought.
Shout out NOLA.com.
Oh, good one, Kenny. Payton, headline.
All right, as we've hyped for like 40 minutes, Bronny James.
You got to read the headline.
Bronny James. The Lakers pick Bronny James in NBA draft. LeBron, quote, emotional. Yeah, I mean, this was kind of the biggest thing from the draft because it was a really weak draft. Nobody cares about the first like 20,000 picks in this thing. Bronny James was far and away the most talked about draft pick. There's people that are obviously very upset. There's people that don't really care. That there's people that think it's great. I think personally that late in the draft, does it really matter? I mean, it really, to me, doesn't matter. I think it's cool. He'll get to play with LeBron. It'll be cool for LeBron, and honestly, I kind of expect LeBron to be pretty hard on his son throughout the draft. Like, obviously he's going to be super thrilled to play with him, but I bet he's going to take him to school and practice. It would not shock me at all if that happened, but I think it's cool personally. Good for Bronny. He went through a whole lot this year. People forget he would have been like a legit draft pick had he probably not had his cardiac incident before the season. I mean, if maybe he should have stayed in school, maybe not. It doesn't matter to me. I think it's cool for him, cool for LeBron. It's really not a big deal.
I think you said it well. Like, I think this is kind of a moment that needs to be like celebrated. Like, I get it. Things that get talked about ad nauseum get old and annoying to talk about. Yes, right. Bronny James is not a blue chip prospect. There are reasons for that. Like Payton just said, a lot of those reasons, by the way, very much out of his control. I mean, like I heard one really good thing on a podcast where it's like, we talk about people who tear their ACL as it's like, oh, the year that they're expected to deliver at their peak again is not the year they come back, but the next year, because that's how long it takes to recover. Like, we need to give Bronny James some damn slack. Like, the man suffered a cardiac arrest on the court. Like, he's 19 trying to make it in the NBA like a lot of these other kids are. And like, I would rather just celebrate that we're going to have a father and son playing in the NBA. Like, that might not ever happen again. I just think that's a crazy, like,
with arguably the greatest player of all time, right, mind you.
Right.
I think that's cool.
I think it just needs to be enjoyed.
Put that and take out arguably what Payton just said.
Yeah. Fact.
No, we'll keep arguably in. But No, and look, if it wasn't Bronny James, no, he wouldn't have been drafted. I'm not going to be blindly ignorant to that. He was drafted because he's LeBron James's son. But man, like if he wasn't LeBron James's son in his situation, he would have gone back to school. All right. He knew his situation. All right. He knew he had a chance to play with his dad, and he took it. I don't think that's a bad thing. I think it's very cool for him. I think it's very cool for the league. And like I said, I do not think LeBron is going to treat him like his son. I think LeBron is going to take him to school and practice. I think he's going to go pretty hard on Bronny.
There's that one crowd too that is brought up multiple times, and it's a good point too. You know, whose like dream did he ruin? You know, by being selected by the Lakers, he took away one draft pick, and yes, you know, like you guys said, you know, he probably would have been a draft pick. You know, if he did have his full freshman season at USC and nothing was really holding him back medically those first couple months. But there is some people out there that are like, you know, one guy didn't get drafted because of this.
Well,
and he got signed instead. Oh well. I mean, it really
you can still be upset for you can still feel for the person that didn't get drafted because of this scenario, Payton. Like just because you got signed after, I mean, there's still a really good feeling about being drafted, no matter what the pick is in the NBA draft, in any draft.
That's fair. I'll throw this in. I feel bad then for the two guys that didn't get signed because two teams tampered and got their picks forfeited. Like there were only 58 picks in this draft and there should have been 60. So, I mean, yeah.
Or foreign guys that get drafted and then never come overseas. Like there's a lot of things that can get in the way of that. It's not just Bronny James getting drafted.
But it's fair. I do work. Like the only thing I do worry is, the whole, he already worked so hard in 5 months to just get like comfortable at college. And now he's going to have to make the jump to the NBA. Yes, he has possibly the greatest mentor you could ever ask for, helping him. But it is a jump. And eventually he's going to have to make his own way. I think the other thing to keep in mind, too, they're going to play what? Maybe 5 games together?
Yeah.
Other than that, like Bronny's going to play for the South Bay Lakers with Sean East, like we talked about, where his true mentor. He'll be spending way more time with Sean East than he will with LeBron. I mean,
maybe they'll be roommates.
And they were roommates. That's a crazy thing too. Like Sean East is like what, 5-6 years older than Bronny?
Oh gosh, yeah. I mean, because he's our age, 24, right?
Right. Yeah. So I don't know. It's just interesting.
He's 24.
I'm excited to see it. I am glad it's kind of over. I think it's as someone who loves the NBA draft, talking that much about a 55th pick was amazing. We should do this with every 55th pick. Figure out who the next gems are every year.
Right.
To come from the second round. But yeah, we'll see. I think the more crazy thing to watch is just the Lakers are just, I mean, it is showtime. Maybe not for the reasons they want it to be, but they've got a first-year head coach, a father-son on the same team, the not arguably greatest player of all time, Dalton Connect. There you go. Who also fell.
That was their worst pick.
Not a Dalton Connect fan, Payton? He can't play defense. That's the
argument.
No,
he's good, but I don't like. He was annoying to see against Mizzou. That's for sure.
My tough part thing is like everyone was annoying to see against Mizzou. Mizzou was just bad.
Yeah,
but
there's always one guy. It's Dalton Connect. He was at Northern Colorado last year.
JUCO before that.
Yeah.
Co-product. Yeah, I don't know. We'll see how it goes, but I think, good headline, Payton. We'll see. Staying on the notion of maybe some controversy, my headline reads as follows. EA College Football, top 25 teams revealed. This was something and got some response from the community. If you didn't see this, EA Sports released that. So they released their top 25 or top like offenses and defenses, like their ratings, but then they released the top 25 teams and their overall. Missouri's not on the list. And not only is Missouri not on the list, they were snubbed for the likes of Colorado, who I believe won 4 games last year.
Yep.
Virginia Tech, I don't even remember how well they did last year.
7-6.
7-6. And of course, everyone's favorite football program, Kansas, who clocked in at number 22 on this list. Yeah, this is insane. This is insane that Missouri's not on this list.
I'm not one that typically gets angry over like video game rankings or anything like that, but this is pretty damn crazy. First of all, like let's like even aside from, I mean, Ole Miss at 15, they're better than probably every one of 6 through 14. I don't think I see a team there that I like more than Ole Miss. Miami at 13 is absolutely ridiculous. A&M at 14, I think, is a bit aggressive. You could make an argument for them in the top 25, but 14 is pretty insane. Colorado at 6, like, look, I get it, marketing. All right, man. Like, you have a cover athlete. They were like the most like for especially the first half of the season, the most hotly debated team in the nation. But they weren't any good. They weren't any good. Like at the end of the day, you kind of just gotta realize like they were Travis Hunter, Shadur Sanders, and pretty much nobody else. They lost a lot of the players that people liked. Donovan Edwards transferred to Kansas State. Cormani McClain was so bad last year. He went from being the number 1 overall recruit to walking on at Florida.
Yikes.
I mean, and like Kansas, dude, like I get it. Kansas has been one of the more remarkable turnarounds ever, and Lance Leipold is going to get a bag from an actual football school in the near future. But dude, I don't see how you can possibly have Kansas up at 22. Mizzou's offense reminder was number 9, the number 9 rated unit, which means they must think Mizzou's defense is horrible, EA. And it's not totally unfair to think Mizzou's defense is going to take a step back. I personally am kind of concerned about the cornerback room. I don't think it's deep enough. But man, they must have them in the 70s for Mizzou to not be on this list. I think it's ridiculous that Mizzou is not there. I mean, you look at Iowa. Iowa's a one-trick pony. I mean, their defense and
dang
that's
ball.
They're godlike punter left, so it can't be just a special teams buoy. You know what? I am actually going to blame this on Eric Link and the special teams as why Mizzou's not on here. If the special teams unit was any good, they'd probably be a little bit higher ranked, and that falls on Eric Link.
Wow. I like that full circle. Well done. Kenny?
My only thought is that Wisconsin at 18 seems a little high. I don't even think they should be ranked, frankly.
I do agree with that as well.
Yeah, I think that's a little funny there. What do you think, Jack? Do you agree with that? Do you think Wisconsin shouldn't be ranked?
Yeah, probably. I'm assuming you teed this up as a possible troll, but I mean, I'm not all that sold. I do like their quarterback that they brought in. I hope they. But no, they definitely are not better than Mizzou, and I wouldn't put them at 18. Maybe in the
it's worse the more I look at it. I mean, like LSU, like they were like I think we all remember how bad their defense was last year, correct? And they lost their second best player in Mekhi Wingo and many others. They didn't do that well in the portal. They had there were people doing think pieces on how Brian Kelly needs to open up the checkbook a little more for the portal so that they can do better in it.
Maybe it's the Blake Baker effect.
Okay, but I mean, they don't rank the coordinators. They rank the players.
Why didn't they do a graphic for the special
ranking
teams,
the brands?
Yeah, that's also completely true. But then why is Kansas up to 22?
That's a good.
They wanted something to be different.
Yeah, I mean, look at 6 through 8, like Clemson, Notre Dame, LSU. Like those are 3 iconic college football brands.
I feel like Colorado coming in at 16 is just frankly that they just like, oh, we didn't make them top 15, but they're still in our ranking. And this was the first spot that was open. So people don't get upset about them being top 15.
Oklahoma has a first-year starting quarterback. What are we doing?
That turned the ball over 5 times. Also, Tennessee's not in here.
I was like, where's Tennessee?
Kansas State's not in here. Kansas State will probably be pretty good.
Who's the one guy in Tennessee that isn't he going to be the best defensive player in college football?
Pierce. Yeah.
Yes,
he's
Pierce.
Going to be he might be the first overall pick, depending on the team that gets the pick.
Wow.
So, well done, EA. These rankings absolutely stink.
I mean, EA couldn't be perfect, right? Like, we're all very excited for this game. Look
Not
at that.
anymore, I'm
Missouri's
not.
10 on the ESPN power rankings, and Tennessee is 9. And you couldn't throw them in the man. I hate to be the Tennessee defender. I know we don't really like Tennessee, but man,
Florida's at 20. Okay, maybe this ranking sucks.
SMU robbed.
The Hiron Whites, Kansas 17.
I think we have to accept in the end that, EA, they're making a very exciting game. We're all looking forward to playing it. It's still EA. It can't be perfect. They gotta do something egregious at some point, as we've learned over the years of playing EA video games. Is that fair? That's fair.
Whatever.
Auburn at 19 on ESPN. What are they doing? They know who their quarterback is.
That's a trap game for Mizzou, no doubt.
Yeah, I suppose. There you go. That's maybe our joke of the week. Unless Payton has another one, we could just let EA be the joke of the week.
Well, we have something else as well. We have a ratio.
Oh, right. We have a ratio. Sorry. Ratio. Kenny?
Ratio of the week. Good friend Jack Sobel submitted this one to us. It kind of goes into the team power rankings that you were just talking about. Sobel quote tweeted it, the On3 post, his employer. I just try to keep my account focused on Notre Dame and not my alma mater, but what the hell? And then an account replied, number 22 had to really hurt. That account is a fan of Kansas. Is a Kansas grad. And Sobel replied with incoming call, Liberty Bowl, and ratioed that account with 11 likes to 2 likes. A little mini ratio.
Mini ratio.
Sobel wanted me to throw it out there. Shout out to Jack Sobel.
Good job.
Remember when the Liberty Bowl was Arkansas and Kansas in the unfortunately one of these teams has to win game?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Pretty
another
depressing.
reason for Chuck to pick Mizzou.
Anyways, this one comes from my favorite our favorite TV, our favorite TV series, The Today Show. Guys, why aren't lobsters generous?
They're pinchy with their money.
Nope.
I think you're trying to say
because they're shellfish, guys. Come on, it's a classic. It's a classic,
well done.
Guys. Thank you.
That was
right on the show.
All right, we're done. Hopefully we're breaking down a commitment of Charles Bass. He's got to get a Bass Pro deal, by the way, if he comes to Mizzou, or I guess, frankly, wherever he goes. But hopefully we're breaking down that commitment and, maybe talking about that NIL opportunity for him on the next show. Or maybe we'll have some more things to be mad about at EA. Who knows? We'll talk about it nonetheless. All your Missouri news, everything you could ask for. Thank you so much for listening, watching, wherever you are. We will see you guys on Friday.